the raw truth that people do not talk about, and they should talk about it. When I was pregnant, I found it so easy to train, and I loved training in every aspect when I was pregnant, and I just loved feeling strong while I was pregnant. And then kind of like for the first 3 months after having Frankie, I kind of got back into it, and I was just trying to find the balance of having a newborn. Then Rye come in and being like that extra set of hands for Frankie was like game changer. When she reached month 4, I'll be totally honest, from month 4 till month 7, it was probably the darkest headspace I've been in like a really long time. My hormones were so heightened and then so low, and I just honestly found it really hard and like struggled with how low I was feeling, because I had just never really felt this. I thought it was a combination of just being like tired and then just having this kind of like foggy brain, like really down, like just really kind of like flat in terms of like energy, just couldn't really be bothered with anything, and that really annoyed me. It's like I just couldn't be bothered. Like, I just didn't bother me if I didn't train. It just didn't bother me, and I just didn't like feeling like that. And at times I felt like I just wasn't connected enough to like Callum and Frankie the way I had been like pre-baby. Like I had like really bad like mom rage, and I didn't really think that that was a thing, but it's so internal. Like, it's not that I never had it against like Frankie or Callum. It wasn't like that. It was more so like just angry with myself for not feeling certain things, and just kind of feeling disconnected and disassociated with my life at times, and then getting really angry at why I feel so disconnected and so angry. So I've been dealing with that. So that's where that was. And then Callum went away for a month in August, and my mom said she'd come over and like help me out. And when she came, we had like a few open like discussions, and I told her how I was feeling, and she suggested that I go get like my hormones tested, and that's what I did. So I went to Bali Natural Healing to see Dr. Peggy, got tested for like my progesterone, my estrogen, thyroid, and just like overall like general like blood work, and with the focus more so on the hormones. So I basically had a consultation at the start, and I told her how I felt. So she tested it. Basically, it normally ranges, like healthy ranges between like 3 and 50. 3 can be like after having a baby. 50 can be like you're on different like supplements, or you're pregnant and like your progesterone gets you like that high. Basically what happened was they tested, and mine came back 0.57, so I wasn't even in the range. So I basically have had like no progesterone in my system for the last 7 months. I was obviously coming down off the high of being like pregnant and stuff, but yeah, it was like super hard. And I would highly suggest to any woman who's after having a baby, do yourself a favor and go get tested. Like, no one said to me at any point would I be dealing with things like this heavy. And then after speaking to Peggy, she was like, what you're feeling is not normal, and like, you are tired. I'm not talking about this, like I'm talking about like you're clear-headed is not there anymore, like you're just like that wave of like getting really good and then really bad. She's like, that's actually not normal, that is a part of like postpartum. So I've started on progesterone pump cream, so twice in the morning and twice in the evening, and I basically rub it under like my armpit, my groin, and my thigh to see if we can get like my blood, like my progesterone to go back to where it needs to be, because we obviously would like to extend and have another baby like in the coming future. But as she was saying to me, if the hormones don't balance out, like we'll find it really hard to get pregnant, and then it can just lead to other side effects like from mental health side of things and everything, and that's obviously not the route that I want to go down. So 1 in every 3 women deal highly with postpartum, and no one talks about it. Like, either they're afraid to talk about it, or women, myself included, have been like nearly like ashamed to reach out to friends and ashamed to reach out to other moms for fear of being judged. 1, 2, compared to their pregnancies, and then just feeling like a failure as a woman, failure as a mother, and then failure to yourself, that you just can't pull yourself out of the hole that you're never going to be able to pull yourself out of without the help of like the hormone. So that's been like a big eye-opening for me. So I'm officially on a 3 days now. I have to do it all the way until I get my first period, like the main bleed, and then from there I stop for like maybe 3 or 4 days, and then I carry on again, and I need to do it 3 to 4 cycles, and then I'll get tested again, and from there we will see where we're at. And I'm hoping in the time frame like my headspace just gets clearer, my connection with my life gets stronger again, and yeah, so the raw truth that people do not talk about, and they should talk about it and just like normalize it. It's not to like scare women who are like pregnant, but it's just to feel the sense of sanity that like what you're explaining or what you're saying to friends and like first time moms is like, you're never going to be fully prepared for it. But even if someone had said it to you, in the back of your mind you would have been like, oh, I've heard someone talk about this before and like it's not normal and this is how you can feel. That's my 10-month check-in with Frankie, because originally when I had Frankie I was going to do like check-ins on my body every week, and I thought that was going to be the main change that I'd see. Like I never thought it was going to be so mentally changing. So my 10-month check-in is this.